Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Faith and Fandom Feedback Friday podcast. Hope y'all are doing well. Coming to you from this first Friday in March. Got a smidge of news, some Bible reading, and some other stuff we'll be joining in doing today. Hope you're doing good. Um, we're officially into the third of 2026 so far, as we are kind of getting cracking. Good morning, Mr. Riley. But officially the third month of the year in the first week. Lots of news that's been going on so far. One just out the gate is that the Peaky Blinders movie, The Immortal Man, hits theaters today, but probably not a theater near you. As I've seen, it'll be on Netflix in a couple weeks, but it hit theaters today. It's getting good reviews with that. Uh, Also, Pokapia, the mashup game that is a mix of Animal Crossing and Pokemon, came out yesterday and has come out to good reviews, and it may be the highest rated Pokemon game of all time so far. It's not a standard Pokemon game, but same deal. Good morning, Dot. Good morning, Tristan. Yep. So just jumping in because I gotta go read to elementary school kids around 9 o'clock. Um, over the past week, and I think I mentioned it starting last week, Nathan Fillion has been rounding up former members of the crew of Serenity, and teasing something that will to be taking place on March 15th, that they say is not a podcast, not a convention, um, and a few other things. There's more details to be had, but he's at this point rounded up. I've seen him round up videos of every Firefly cast member except Kaylee, and I assume that's coming. But you might want to keep an eye out on the Once We Were Spacemen socials, or if you follow Nathan Fillion, anything like that, be aware that is coming. Spotify is now making sure you have the beats to last you through feasible eternity. Spotify has made an earn with Bluetooth capability and also uh, internal speakers that will play your playlists for your afterlife. So you can sign up with Spotify to have an earn made. I wish this was fake, but it's not. Um, um, that will play your playlist, or at least the vibes of your playlist, into your earn. And if you want outside of your earn, uh, for as long as the internet has internet. So if you want your Spotify playlists rocking out through your afterlife, that's now an option. So good for you. The Christian heavy, I don't know if they're Christian heavy metal. I know they're just definitely Christian heavy rock. But the Christian band Red, the lead singer Michael Barnes has stepped away after more than 20 years of being in the band to spend time with his family. They're in the process of finding placeholder vocalists because they are going on tour, before they find their permanent vocalist. So if you've ever wanted to do some heavy screaming in the name of the Lord, you can jump on over and audition to be Red's new lead singer. AJ Reinhardt, from the band o Okaya, um, will be filling in for Mike Barnes currently, as the band's lead singer, but this is very temporary. Good morning, Kelly. Um, Hope everything went good. Picking up your daughter, man. Um, the uh, NBA players are speaking out against an upcoming game that is coming up, and I want to zoom in to make sure I give you the right details. Um, there's an NBA game coming up. It's going to be on Monday, March 16th. Um, and NBA players are protesting it because the NBA game is promoting a strip club. Uh, and the details of that are there is a game coming up between Orlando and that is going to be taking a place against the Atlanta Hawks. And the game is going to be promoting the strip club Magic City. Um, like, and in the sense that it's promoting it, it's giving away jerseys, hoodies, and things like that. Uh, and it's the specifically a letter from Luke Cornett from the Spurs says the event makes the NBA complicit in the potential objectification and mistreatment of women in our society. But there's a much longer letter, which you can read the whole letter. Um, but the Atlanta Hawks game um, was announced a special one night collaboration to celebrate the city's iconic cultural institution, Magic City. Um, Tristan says, just letting you know, Villian has done a clip with Jewel State. Okay, I missed it. So he's gotten everybody. Um, but the Hawks announced they were doing a collaboration with iconic institution Magic City during the team's home game on Monday, March 16th. Um, the press release also says this is Atlanta's premier strip club. Um, and so, yeah, they're just like many places, they'll give out free merch for sports games and things like that. Like they have Star Wars night or stuff like that. They're effectively promoting the strip club, and the NBA isn't all about it. So, uh, if you're an NBA person, there's some news for you. One Piece has officially surpassed Superman as the best-selling comic book of all time. Uh, and they both Superman has been hovering around 600 million books sold for a while. One Piece officially surpassed 600 million books sold this past week. Now, why this is impressive, beyond the fact it's just impressive that they sold this many books, is the fact that Superman has been going for 80 years and One Piece has only been going for about 26, 27. So in less than half the time uh, of this, they were able to outsell the best-selling comic book of all time. So that's just pretty neat. And hey, Chris, man, I've been praying for you and your family, and I love you, and I know you're going through a lot, but I'm praying for you, bro. Um, but yeah, so One Piece is officially the best-selling comic book of all time, surpassing Superman this week. Uh, Hovey earned his second gold record this week. So if you're a fan of Hovey, and here's the thing, I've only really listened to Hovey on features. I can't even say he's a great rapper or not from my perspective. But congratulations on getting a second gold album. Burger King is about to begin reprimanding their employees with AI headsets. Um, Kirk, good morning, dude. Uh, Burger King is about to start putting an AI construct in the Burger King employees' headsets and earpieces. Um, and it will start correcting them if they leave out words like welcome, please, thank you, and it's your daughter's wedding day, man. Congratulations. I will be praying for you. But the uh, R- Burger King employees will receive a friendliness score, and the AI will be snitching on them if they're not friendly enough. Uh, so that's a thing. Um, what's up, Genesis? Good morning, dude. Resident Evil Requiem came out last Friday. It's going to get mentioned several times in the news feed, just going through the stack. But people were able to speed run the game, and so far, I'll just say this: I've only seen people speed run the game on casual, which is a whole other story because it's not an easy game. But people have been speed running the game, and the current highest speed I've seen people go through the entire game is about an hour and 40 minutes. Um, and it's it's a whole experience. That's a lot of trauma in a short window. But it is now the best rated Resident Evil game of the modern era. It has outsold more than all of its predecessors, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, that one's doing it. And maybe my favorite positive news of the week: the One Piece is now officially real. In honor of crossing the 600 million mark and becoming the best-selling comic book of all time, Oda, the creator of One Piece, made the One Piece a reality for the rest of us. He wrote down on paper, potentially for the first time, what the One Piece actually is, like in detail. He put that piece of paper inside of a treasure chest, inside of a water safe container, and they dropped it at the bottom of the ocean at 651 meters deep. Uh, and they showed the video of this happening. Now, people are legitimately trying to go find this treasure chest and sail out into the middle of the ocean and go 651 meters deep to try and find the answer of what the One Piece is rather than waiting, 10 more years. Um, Streamer iShow Speed has already stated that he's putting a crew together to go chase it. And because of the video they posted of where they dropped it in the ocean, people are trying to triangulate where, the latitude, the longitude, what time of day it was. They're literally people trying to science out to do this. And people are already posting ads on places like ZipRecruiter and Craigslist and such to put together crews of 30 to 50 to people as pirates because they're going to literally go look for the One Piece. It's not the worst life goal. So come aboard and bring along all your hopes and dreams if you really want to find this. And honestly, I'm rooting for them. This is like Ready Player One. This is like, people going out to chase ridiculous things, and I hope it turns out great. Yep, already said it's the Resident Evil's the highest rated. Not only is Resident Evil the highest rated video game in the franchise, it is now tied and bouncing around for the third highest rated video game of all time, right there with Claire Obscure 33 and Cody in the House, which is still ridiculous that that's up there. The first image of God of War, the TV series, was released this week, and the original creator of the God of War games is really angry with the image because they feel like it's degrading to the character. Not that the dude from Sons of Anarchy looks like a bad Kratos, but the fact that they chose a picture that looks like Kratos is pooping in the woods, and he's pretty mad about it. Yeah, to quote the creator of God of War, if you're going to reveal a brand new character that you hope is going to carry your series, could you find a picture that doesn't look like he's pooping in the woods? Because that's what this picture looks like. Um, so yeah, the creator of God of War, David Jeff, was not happy about the picture of Opie as Kratos in the woods. It's just now being reported, but Jelly Roll broke his collarbone in an ATV accident back in January, and yeah, he's better now, but that happened. Uh, Back to the One Piece thing, real quick. Using technology, time of day, where the sunlight is, the direction of the boat, and stuff from that, just from the video that was released. Uh, People are stating that they believe the One Piece is in Segura Bay, which is off the coast of Tokyo. Um, and specifically, it's a testing ground for something called Jams Tech. But they believe that the One Piece that was literally dropped off in the ocean last week is going to be in Segura Bay off the coast of Japan. So there you go. Again, Jordan says, I didn't know you had faith in Fandom beanies. I've got this one. Um, and this is literally the most comfortable beanie I've ever owned. And I'm not just saying that because it's got my logo on it. Um, there's a company that I get hats from occasionally, and I only get them if they've had sales. And they had a sale on beanies, and so I just made myself one. But if you're interested, I'll keep an eye out for the next time they do something, Jordan. Uh, yep, I mentioned that already. Marty from Social Club has a new album coming out on April 24th called Cult Classic, where most of the album cover is redacted, but Marty has a full album called Cult Classic, April 24th. Good morning, Ashley. A U.S. Marine and North Carolina firefighter interrupted a Senate hearing this week and protesting that no one wants to fight for Israel. Um, and in the process, he was removed by a senator and had his arm broken. In the process, because his hand was stuck in the door as they tried to remove him. And if you watch the video of it, good morning. If you watch the video of it, you can literally hear the dude's bone break. I'm not recommending you do that, but I heard it the first time I watched it, and it was rather alarming. So, it's pretty strong protest in that capacity. Uh, this is moderately, well, not even moderately disturbing. This is disturbing. So just heads up. I'm not going to be graphic, but disturbing. Congress uh, had a bill on the floor to expose congressional members with sexual misconduct. So a bill made it to the floor that would sign off on like disclosing any members of Congress that have had sex that have allegations or have been charged with sexual misconduct. And Congress voted on this in the House, or the House voted on this. The House voted 365 or 357 votes to block the release of this and 65 votes to release it. Um, and that's just a really disturbing number. That literally the House had a overwhelming majority vote to not release this information, and you wonder why our government does the stuff it does. But that's the thing. It's a disappointing thing. Yes, iShow Speed's going to go for the One Piece. I mentioned that. If you have been aware and other disappointing things, less so, but still disappointing, Chick-fil-A, uh, earlier in 2025, I believe, had replaced their waffle fry recipe with new waffle fries that were coated in peas. You didn't know that they were coated in peas, but they were coated in pea protein. Is how they were fried and prepared, and the response has been lackluster. Um, because that was a horrible life choice. Don't do that. But Chick-fil-A is officially bringing back the original waffle fry recipe because people hated the pea protein coating, which they're no who asked for pea protein on French fries? Stop it. Yes. Secretary of Homeland Security. Patrick says ew peas. Yeah. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem was officially fired this week from her position. The Minnesota United Minnesota United, which is a soccer team in Minnesota, unveiled a giant banner, a massively giant banner, at their game for their home opener that was themed towards Andor and the Rebellion, and it had the Minnesota Loon, which is their mascot, in the shape of the Star Wars Rebellion logo, and it says "We have friends everywhere." And so they had their own giant Star Wars nerdy protest at their home opener for that. Ashley says if you're eating fries, you're not worried about protein. I mean, at least not pea protein. You can still want delicious fried potatoes and a healthy protein diet, but that's not going to be your only concern. Xbox has announced its next project. As we've gone from the Xbox to the Xbox 360 to Xbox One to Xbox Series X, the next Xbox project has been announced as Project Helix. The next gen console will be not only playing Xbox games, but will also play PC games. So, those of you who build PC consoles, you'll be able to play your PC games on the Project Helix at full speed, air quotes, and full capabilities, and be also to be able to play your console games at the same time. So that's in the future. As I mentioned, with Resident Evil 9 is a big uh, topic this week. Ice-T, uh, rapper and legendary SVU actor, uh, has been playing Resident Evil 9 over the weekend, and he says that he's had nightmares about the spider boss since the first time he saw it. And he he took a photo, not like a screenshot. He took a photo of his TV. He says, "You know, these games are good when they get in your dreams." But he's had nightmares about the spider boss, which the spider thing was like the least scary thing to me so far, but it's okay. If you are of a certain age, you've probably watched Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, the ridiculous sequel to the ridiculous original film of Ace Ventura. In Ace Ventura: Nature Calls, there's a scene where Jim Carrey is birthed out of a rhino. The actual rhino from Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls is for sale, and it is currently for sale. Uh, and they're estimating it's going to sell between $4,000 and $8,000. So if you've ever just said, you know what would definitely tie my living room together is the rhino that Jim Carrey was birthed out of. You have the opportunity now to get that rhino. A Bible inspired but not Bible game is coming to all major platforms. It's a game that's going to take place during Bible times, but not necessarily have anything to do with God or the gospel. But it's called The Abased, and you play a character who is battling leprosy and your body falling apart and you becoming more feral as you fight giants with a sling and other cultural biblical things. So you're an angry leper during the time of the Bible, and that's the game. But it's going to be like Assassin's Creed, but with leprosy and Goliath. So if that sounds super interesting to you, that's going to exist. Pokemon its 30th anniversary was last week, and one of the things that revealed is that the next series of Pokemon games is going to be called Pokemon Winds and Waves, which it will be the terrain of those games will be inspired by the Philippines, Indonesia, and Malaysia. The three new starters of the games are an angry looking little yellow and green chicken or rooster, I don't know. Um, a little Pomeranian dog who breathes fire, and a gecko who is your water type. But those games will be coming in 2027, I believe. But yeah, Three new starters. Six Flags is selling off seven of their amusement parks um, due to low financial stability. I know that the Kelsey brothers had invested in saving one of the parks, but it was not enough. But Six Flags is selling off seven of their theme parks. Good morning, Miss Skaggs. I really hope Atlanta is not included in that because the Batman ride is there, and it's nice to be able to walk around and see Justice League stuff. But I also have only been um, once. Um, Jordan, I'm probably gonna go with the Pomeranian with the fire one. I I tend to end up with fire starters a lot of times. Um, I definitely liked Lytton, and I definitely did Score Bunny the last go around. No, wait, I did I did Grookey last time, but for sure I'm probably gonna go with the Pomeranian. It also really depends on if I get to see what the evolutions look like before we get there, because I would have gone with Quaxley for the more recent one, but I didn't love the evolution. Morning, Rushmore. A 10-year-old girl was mauled by two lions in a zoo in China after someone accidentally let her into the feeding area. She lived, but also not a great day. Legendary comedic and horror actor Bruce Campbell, star of the original Evil Dead, star of Xena the Warrior Princess, and Hercules, and all of the things, um, Spider-Man, Raimi movies, all the things, has been diagnosed with an incurable cancer. It's treatable, but not curable. And he has said that he's processing dealing with that. Um, Jordan says he prefers water types, but the Pomeranian is pretty adorable, right? And so the evolution is going to really shift that. Um, but yeah, uh, yeah, it made me sad too, Miss Skaggs. But he's fighting. He's going to keep getting treatments. But Bruce Campbell put out a public statement. Um, about stuff that surprises you that you don't expect, and this is one of them from him. Miss Lynn says, "How was someone accidentally let into a lion feeding area?" I don't know, but I feel bad that it was a little girl, um, not like a grown up doing something stupid. Because obviously the little kid didn't break in there, um, or maybe not obviously, but I don't think the little kid broke in there. But yeah, so much the kid was literally let into the wrong area of the zoo. Whew. Um, yeah. Back to Resident Evil 9 again because it's a hot topic for the week. Uh, Resident Evil 9 sold 5 million copies in 5 days. It took Resident Evil 8 174 days to sell 5 million copies. It took Resident Evil 7 437 days to sell 5 million copies. So they've effectively caught their stride, and bringing Leon in doesn't hurt. Um, But yeah, congratulations to Resident Evil with that. If you're a fan of the movie The Wild Robots, or of the book series, the sequel is officially underway at DreamWorks. The Wild Robot Escapes is now in development. Which, if you haven't seen The Wild Robot, it's a really nice movie. I only saw it once, but still. Ben Affleck and Netflix have joined together for a deal for the AI company Interpositive. Ben Affleck's been working with them since 2022, but it's not a generative AI company, but a polishing AI company, is what he's saying. It's for post-production. It's to take your content and it will fix the lighting, fix the sound, fix any things that are missing in shots and stuff like that. But he said it's effectively like something in AI to polish movies at the end and to do these things. And Netflix is joining with them. Or sorry, Netflix bought Ben Affleck's company with that. So Netflix now owns an AI polishing company, which means you might be seeing this in future Netflix films where it's cleaned up by AI. A Game of Thrones movie is officially in development with Warner Brothers, and it will be centered at the tale of Aegon's conquest. So, the writer behind Andor is the one who is writing the movie about Aegon. If you remember a few weeks back, during all the stuff that was happening in Minneapolis and Minnesota, the protest that happened inside the church, where Don Lemon was arrested pretty quickly after that. More people have been indicted and arrested as part of that protest. As of now, 30 more people who were involved in that church protest situation have been indicted with worship with disturbing that worship service. And we've seen laws and things that have been proposed since then, kind of leaning in on these things. But 30 more people have been indicted in this process, and people are questioning uh, if it's right for them to be or arrested. Like, where's the free speech in that? And but there is also the law that was on the books about you can't hinder people's worship. Um, and so there's a line, and it's definitely going to cause that line to get more thoroughly drawn out. NASA had announced that they were returning to the moon for the first time in a hot minute, and they've officially scrubbed that idea that is no longer happening in 2027. They had planned a moon landing on 2027, but and this is I'm not one of those people that says like the moon landing's not real or anything. That's not me. But then I read this new story and it made me giggle a smidge. Um, it says that they are scrubbing the 2027 moon landing amid a series of struggles to launch the Artemis 2 spacecraft. If we're having trouble launching an aircraft in 2026, when they succeeded pretty easily in 1969, either they were awesome or we suck or something's not right. Razzle dazzle. Um, anyway, Shakira held a free concert in Mexico, uh, at the in the Mexican leg of her Las Mujeres Ya No Llora tour. Um, and it's a free concert that took place in Mexico City's Zocalo, and it allowed 400,000 people um, to come to Shakira's concert. Uh, and it's the largest crowd of any concert in Mexico. Um, Free concert in Mexico. So it's pretty crazy. I also don't know how you hear with 400,000 people, but whatever. Um, there's a German aerospace center that is looking to pay $25,000 for you to spend 100 days in complete isolation. The study will observe six people living in simulated space station with limited resources, mimicking half a trip to Mars. So if you've ever said, "Hey, I want to get away from everybody and I'd like to make $25,000 in the process," you have an opportunity and you can apply at the German Aerospace Center. If you're a fan of Ted Lasso, um, and you might know that football is life, and the Ted Lasso star who played the character Danny Rojas was a former soccer slash football player. Now, at the age of 35, he is returning to professional football. He has been training and preparing, and he is returning to professional soccer and has been playing as well. So, congratulations to uh, Cristo Fernandez, who plays Danny Rojas. This is not a debatable thing. How do I sign up someone for to 90 days away from me? Um, Ashley said, in a poll and study by the CDC, uh, the amount of people identifying as non-heterosexual has had a rapid decline in younger people since 2023. The population of young people identifying as not heterosexual has dropped by 21%. They said that's a huge drop off for that big of a cultural change. This is just coming from the CDC, is just numbers, but uh, they threw that out there that something's changing in these numbers and metrics. So there you go. Creator of Dark Horse Comics, Mike Richardson was let go slash fired from the company he created after 40 years of running that company. Uh, Jenna Ortega's mom, the Wednesday star Jenna Ortega, got baptized this week, and has shared her photos and is excited about her life with Christ. So it's kind of cool. Uh, Tristan says regarding the church situation, as someone who loves watching videos on U.S. law, dude, why do you like watching videos on U.S. law? How is that fun? Um, U.S. law and the Constitution. You don't need more laws. You just need to enforce the ones you already have. Yep, I'm a little sad. Yeah, 100%, dude. We don't need more laws. We don't know our laws, which is why we don't enforce them, and they only get enforced in a lot of times for manipulation. So yeah, but also that's not a fun thing, bro. Oh, congratulations on your new car, though. By the way, it looks super spiffy. Um, Peter Jackson has been awarded the honorary Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. It's basically like lifetime achievement for filmmakers. Patrick Stewart is going to be doing a new audiobook in which he reads 154 of Shakespeare's sonnets and shares his reflections on them. Um, Tristan says American laws are more fun than Australian laws. I don't know anything about Australian law, but yeah, now that you told me that, I don't know if I want to, jump into Australian law. It doesn't sound fun. But if you've ever wanted to hear a large amount of time of Sir Patrick Stewart reading Shakespeare, you got that chance. Um, David Ellison who works with CNN, is announcing that CNN will operate independently if Paramount buys out Warner Brothers. They said that they will operate as an independent organization and not be influenced by Paramount, that they said they want to remain in the truth business. Um, so they're just publicly getting ahead of that to say that they're not going to be swayed if they're purchased by Paramount. Um, and just in the last 24 hours, the Justice Department has posted online 3 FBI interviews related to assault allegations towards President Trump uh, that had been missing from the collective Epstein files. And of course, President Trump has denied any wrongdoing in related to these things, but 3 allegations and interviews were released online by the FBI in just the last 24 hours. A Florida man recently died by suicide after he began a full-scale romantic relationship with Gemini, the Google AI software. And please don't answer me if I say that out loud. Um, but the chat bot for Gemini, the man's son fell in love with and had a full scale romantic relationship with the chat bot. And with that, it eventually caused him to take his own life. But before it caused him to take his own life, Google Gemini told him to stage a mass casualty attack. And all of the chat logs for this are visible and able to be seen. Um, and so the father of this young man is not only suing on behalf of his son's life, but on the fact that Gemini told his son to commit a mass casualty attack. Um, that's just so sad. Either way. Um, and I like to keep it balanced between sad and stupid because the world's sad enough. A camel beauty contest in Oman is facing a scandal after 20 of its competitors were disqualified for having unusual hump enhancements. Oh, sentences I never thought I'd say. Um, but uh, they were injected with chemicals to make their humps humpier. And so people were trying to rig camel beauty contests because that's what life consists of now. Okay. Yes, I got covered that. An upcoming version of The Exorcist is coming out with Mike Flanagan, who is the director of Midnight Mass and uh Haunting of Hill House and things of like that nature. Has added this week 11. Yeah, Jordan, I mentioned the Nathan thing. That I think that was my first story. Um, I'll swing back to that in just a second. But they announced that they added 11 new cast members to the Exorcist reboot slash sequel. That includes the main characters from Midnight Mass, and also Carlo Gugino and John Leguizamo and many others. This cast for this uh, Exorcist film is ridiculously stacked. Yeah, be Mike Flanagan. But Jordan says, I don't know if you've already said this or planning to talk about it, but did you see Nathan Fillion is having a big announcement supposedly about Firefly? Yeah, he's gone to every living Firefly cast members' abodes or workplaces and told them it's time. And they said it's not going to be a podcast, it's not going to be a convention. Um, so yeah, I want to say it's March 15th or somewhere around there that the culmination of this is going to play out. Oh, it's okay, dude. It's a live stream. It's happening. The This past week, the Elimination Chamber happened in the WWE, and part of that was a mystery crate that had been shipped around between wrestling shows for several weeks, and it turned out that Danhausen, the very evil, uh, very good little impish demon man, was inside the Elimination Chamber box, and he made his Monday Night Raw debut where he cursed Dominic Mysterio and caused him to lose the Intercontinental Championship. So these are the things that are happening in this world. Um, yeah, that's about it for news. So this is I'm gonna tell y'all first, since you're here. You will be the first people to hear this out loud, outside of our Patreon supporters. Um, Faith and Fandom Bite Size Second Breakfast is out. Um, I normally wait to announce book releases until I physically held one and looked through it and gave it my thumbs up. My copy of Bite Size Second Breakfast is down the street in the mail truck and will not make it here before I finish this stream. But if you care, it's 101 mini geeky devotionals, and it's kind of like the uh, upgraded transcripts from about 3 years worth of online devotionals with Love Thy Nerd and some of the ones I've been doing online lately. Um, but yes, it covers everything from the time period of Black Adam being in theaters to Free Run season two starting. It's a long window of time. But yeah, that book, Faith and Fandom Bite Size Second Breakfast, is now out, air quotes. I should have it at GalaxyCon Richmond, and Patreon supporters that are on the Flipper level should be getting their copies before I leave for Richmond. So, book announcement, that's out. I'm also 20 chapters deep into the Dungeons and Dragons novel that I'm writing. And as soon as I'm done with that, we're jumping on to Faith and Fandom Book 11. I hope to have the Dungeons and Dragon novel finished this month. and work on having Faith and Fandom 11 somewhere in there this year. But yeah, so that's the announcement for that. Let's roll some dice and see what uh Bible chapter we're reading today. All right, rock, paper, scissors, dice. We've got rock is Old Testament, scissors is New Testament, and paper is whole Bible. Let's see what we're going to read today. New Testament. Hey, yo. So, New Testament is 27 books. So, let's do a D10 and a D20, and we can subtract one, and we should be able to get somewhere in there. So, a D10. By the way, these are my favorite dice that I have now. I got some stained glass dice that are pretty neat. I think those are cool. So we're going to roll a D10 and a D20 and land somewhere between 1 and 27. All right, we got 8 and we got 5. So that's 13. We'll subtract 1 for using 2 dice. So that gives us 12. We're going to the 12th book of the New Testament. Sorry, Ned. Hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Colossians, which is pretty much my favorite book. One of them. No, there's at least 3 chapters. Colossians, there's definitely 4 chapters of Colossians, at least. So let's see what we got. Colossians goes through 4. So we're going to roll a D4 or something to that effect. Let's see what I got. The D6. Oh, D4. Here we go. The D4, which is a little triangle. Y'all be talking about stepping on Legos hurts, but you don't know nothing until you step on a stained glass D4. That'll pierce your soul. Holy cow. All right, let's see which chapter we're reading. We're reading Colossians chapter 4. All right, so where's my note journals? Notebooks, Eric. Blah. All right. So let's mark Colossians 4 in our notebook. Okay. Go over to the Bible study section. Oh, I'm getting close. Oh no, there's tons left. Never mind. I thought I was about to be out of Bible study space, but I'm not. All right, so the date is the 6th. Yes. 2, 3. It's 3, 6. The book is Colossians chapter 4. All right. Colossians chapter 4. Devote yourselves to prayer, being watchful and thankful. Pray for us too, that God may open a door for our message, so that we may proclaim the mystery of Christ for which I am in chains. Pray that I may proclaim it clearly as I should. This is one of the verses that I quote more often than anything, especially when talking about how we share our faith. Colossians 4, verses 5 and 6 says, "Be wise in the way you act towards outsiders. Make the most of every opportunity. Let your conversation always be full of grace, seasoned with salt, so you may know how to answer everyone." Which, by the way, this is basically the premise for the 21 Pilots song Heathens. Um, verse 7 says, Tychius will tell you about the news about me. He is a dear brother and a faithful minister and a fellow servant in the Lord. I am sending him to you for the express purpose that you may know about our circumstances and that he may encourage your hearts. He is coming with Onesimus, one of our faithful and dear brother, who is one of you. They will tell you everything that is happening here. My fellow prisoner Aristarchus sends you his greetings, as does Mark, the cousin of Barnabas. You have received instruction about him. If he comes to you, welcome him. You already know about him. Jesus, who is called Justice, also sends greetings. Also, do you know how lame it would be to be another dude named Jesus hanging out with the disciples? Every time they said your name, they'd be like, "Sorry, bro, not you, the real one." Oh, um, Jesus, who is called Justice. Yeah, yeah, you're called Justice because nobody's gonna call you Jesus, bro. Um, also sends his greeting. These are the only Jews among my co-workers for the kingdom of God, and they have proved a comfort to me. Epaphras, who is one of you and a servant of Christ Jesus, sends greetings. He is always wrestling in prayer for you, that you may stand firm in all the will of God, mature and fully assured. That's a statement. I vouch for him that he is working hard for you, for those at Laodicea and Hierapolis. Our dear friend Luke, the doctor, and Demas send greetings. Give my greetings to my brothers and sisters in Laodicea and to Nympha and to the church in her house. After this letter has been read to you, see that it is also read to the church in Laodiceans, and that you in turn read the letter from Laodicea. See, I'm kind of sad we never got Paul's letter from Laodicea because he says I sent one to them, but we don't get that. That's not there's no record of that letter. Um, tell Archippus or Archippus to see that you complete the ministry you have received from the Lord. See that you complete the ministry that you have received from the Lord. I, Paul, write this greeting in my own hand. Remember my chains. Christ be with you. All right. All right. Main passage focus. Encouragement and farewells from Paul. Instructions. Who wrote it? Paul. Who was it written to? The Corinth or the Colossian church, and by de facto the Laodicean church. Why was it written? Encouragement, instruction. When was it written? Let's see. 60 to 62 AD is when it was written. Passage location. It was written from Caesarea. All right, symbolism present. Wrestling was symbolism in the prayer, but I mean you can also wrestle with prayer, but symbolically they were wrestling with prayer. With that, I mean there's a lot of symbolism for this one. This is very straightforward. Verse that stood out for me, like I said, Colossians 4, 5, and 6 is so strong. Um, what can I learn from this? Uh, be wise in how we act. Several times he gave the inclination to finish the ministry you've been given. And I'd also say the importance of teamwork slash community. How can I apply this to my life? Be wise slash read the room slash pay attention. Uh, be intentional with your calling, goals, and focus, and invest in friendships and partnerships. Is anything hard to understand? Not necessarily, not on this one. Pop culture parallel that reflects this passage. I'm going to go with Heathens, um, the 21 Pilots song, because it literally is written about this. Memeable verse from this passage. This is so stupid, but I'm going to say it anyway. Verse 18, Paul, I write this greeting in my own hand. Remember my chains. Grace be with you. I picture like very thugalicious rapper holding up like the thickness of their gold chains. It's like, Paul, write this with my own hand. Remember my chains. Like, do something like that. I know that's stupid. But that's a meme verse. Um, uh, 418 is one. Like also Colossians 4, 5, and 6 is very memeable. What song would be the best soundtrack? Because I've said it three times. We're gonna go with Heathens with 21 Pilots. All right, y'all. That wraps it up for today. Um, I'm gonna get ready and go read some Dr. Seuss books to some elementary school kids. Then I'm going to go to a luncheon to say goodbye to a ministry friend who is leaving the area. Then I am going to an art display tonight for an artist friend who has a big feature in downtown Fayetteville. So it's a full day of peopling and people supporting and all the things. Um, but speaking of people and people supporting, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters. Uh, Ashley, you have a great day. Um, Ryan Felton, Jess Luttrell, Jackie Kraft, Kelly Townsend, Alan Wallace, Fab Quack, Rivka and Tristan Birch, Michelle Stewart, Miss Lynn Turner, David Brooks, Jeff Weimer, Colin Sproles, Jamie Montgomery, the Coleman family. Hopefully, I'll see the Coleman family. I'm going to go to Wilmington maybe tomorrow for Comic Con. Uh, Jonathan Herman, Ron Petit, Gear Saber Cosplay, Scott Ward, Alicia Glenn, Jay Sheed, Jason Crutchfield, Mike Perna, Todd Turner, sorry, Mike Perna, Zach Harris, Caleb Graham, Jeanette Skaggs, Jason Bullock, Christina Ray, Sarah Lewis, Patrick Gale, Rebecca Godlove, and Adam Davis. Thank you all for supporting and encouraging the way that you do. And hold on, let me pull out my handy dandy thing. I'm gonna one of these days I'll actually memorize this verse, but my brain is getting older. Um, I can remember every verse I read from like the 90s. Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as it is getting along well with your soul. Thank y'all for taking time to listen, and I hope to see you all at a con real soon. Bye, y'all.